If we count the start of the modern electric car era as beginning with the Tesla Roadster and the Nissan Leaf in around 2010, then that's around 14 years we've been waiting for electric cars that were sub £30,000 and could actually go beyond the end of your street on a single charge. This year we're getting them. We've got the Renault 5, we've got the Citroën EC3, and now this, the Hyundai Insta.
Based on a petrol model in Korea called the Casper, the Insta is extremely compact, even shorter than a Suzuki Swift in fact. That makes it ideally suited for city driving, though with an advertised range of up to 229 miles. It's got plenty of juice for journeys farther afield, and in fact, with a price of about £25,000, the Hyundai Insta represents one of the best ratios of range to cost EVs out there. It's not like Hyundai is skimping on the frills either. A heat pump and battery warming come as standard, as do things like climate control, a reversing camera, a touchscreen with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and DAB radio. But what's it like behind the wheel?
First thing you notice about this car is the amount of glass there is. It brings in a lot of light. It's quite airy. I've got loads of headroom despite being 6'5". So for a small car, it doesn't feel too small. It's tolerable and the seat is comfortable. What I'm not so happy about is the way it looks. Some of the interiors are all black. This one has rather snazzy seats that reminds me of a sort of 1970s hatchback, but I quite like that. What's not so good is the sort of browns and beiges that remind me a little bit of a bathroom in a care home. But having said that, there are modern touches. You've got this nice big clear touchscreen, and then this driver's display here, which is nice and clear and standard Hyundai fare. You've got USB sockets, you've got an actual 3-pin socket. You can see where some of the costs have been kept down. The glove box is a bit plasticky and some of the switches are not especially high-end. But overall, perfectly acceptable. And what's more, there's space in the back as well. The rear row slides forwards and backwards. And that's a really useful feature. And I can also sit behind myself, which is impressive for a car of this size. To drive, it's also a mixed bag. So you've got rather inert steering, quite a lot of movement around the centre before anything happens at all, and then suddenly it all happens. The ride, though, is very good. You've got 17-inch wheels, so not huge, which helps it soak up the bumps, and along with a bit more ground clearance than you get in a small Super Mini or something like that, it goes over the bumps really well.
The Insta comes with 2 sizes of battery, a standard range one paired with a 96 brake horsepower motor that can go a claimed 203 miles per charge, or what Hyundai calls a long-range version, offering 229 miles before needing to be plugged in. Acceleration for either on paper couldn't be called impressive by electric car standards. 0 to 62 miles per hour takes 11.7 and 10.6 seconds. But the top speeds of 87 miles per hour and 93 miles per hour are still enough to get you in trouble with the law. When you do need to plug in, a full recharge takes up to around 4.5 hours using an 11 kilowatt home wall box, or 30 minutes to go from 10 to 80% using a roadside rapid charger, which is pretty competitive.
So the Hyundai Insta, it's compact, it's affordable, and we need electric cars that are the right price. It's got the right amount of range as well, which is very important. It's also pretty practical. I can fit in there. Brilliant. The trouble is, I don't know what you think of the styling. It might not appeal to everyone. When it's up against something like the Renault 5, which is just terrific looking, it might struggle. But we'll have to wait and see. Pretty good package.